Came to the conclusion, building products for my life, or life as I see, this is something that I wanted to spend the next 10 years on. I think one's mind is a complex thing. The nation state, when a nation state issues a passport, it's issued for the person as a whole. And this, I think, leads to a bit of an implicit assumption that the mind is one, which is nonsense. I want to ensure that there is the right environment for free thinking, which means people should not think they have the right not to be offended. There shouldn't be assholes needlessly pissing people off, but if you feel offended, it's probably your fault.
Are you very convinced on this single asset collateral?
It does not fulfill the stablecoin that I believe Polkadot needs.
The launch team wishes you good luck and Godspeed.
Space Monkeys, blasting off at the Parity Retreat in Bulgaria, live in front of a studio audience. I don't work at Parity, and I don't know whose back I had to rub to be here, but I am grateful that I'm here under the condition that I don't share anything that I hear or say during this week. Luckily for us, nobody can fire our guest, and so we'll see what we can get from him tonight. Gavin, welcome back to Space Monkeys.
Thanks, Jay. Lovely to be here.
Well, thrilling talk that you gave on stage today, this morning. I've actually never seen you in this posture, with this attitude. It really gave this invigorating sense to the future. I think what you're calling the Second Age of Polkadot. What I noticed about your talk there is that now the Web3 mission is personal in a way it really hasn't been before.
That might be fair to say, I guess. I mean, I had some time about 6 months ago to ponder the future. Came to the conclusion that building products for my life, or life as I see, was needed. And this is something that I wanted to spend the next 10 years on. I kind of assumed that I wouldn't. I kind of assumed that you get to the point of Polkadot being vaguely finished, right? And then basically hand it off into the community.
Right.
Be done with it. It's not that I explicitly thought this, but it was sort of, I hadn't thought about it, and that is just the default course of action.
Yeah,
and that I would wander off and do something else, like music visualization or make some board games or something. But then when the time actually arrived, I realized that even if I did want to do other stuff, I would need certain tooling in my life.
Yeah.
Like I would just need certain tooling. And this tooling was necessary for me to be able to do other stuff, or even conceive of living to do other stuff. So then I figured, you know, I may as well start a team to do these products that I need.
Sure.
And then I remembered, oh, actually, I've got a company.
Yes, yeah.
And so I figured, well, let's have a little think about this. Maybe our company strategy can be products, and we'll use our platform instead of expecting other people to use it.
Yeah.
We'll build useful stuff on it. And it wasn't too much longer after then that a few of the other pieces of the strategy fell into place, like the issuance curve that we were discussing, like the desire to move towards a more efficient, capital-efficient security mechanism based on proof of personhood, a few other things.
I feel the same way. I feel like I need Polkadot to work so I can get on with the other things I want to do. I don't want to do those things without Polkadot. One of the things you said on stage today, you were encouraging the members of your company to write in order to figure themselves out. I think you said something like, it helps one understand even the other side of oneself. You kind of spoke of these two sides of your mind. Can you speak at all to anything that you've discovered about yourself that you didn't know before?
I'm not sure if there's anything I really truly discovered about myself, but I think I think one's mind is a complex thing,
Yeah.
the human mind. It's something that philosophers have pondered for a long time. Indeed, one of the parity set texts begins with the question of mind. And I think something that we have been taught, especially in this era of society, I think maybe it wasn't always like this way, but in this era of industrialized society, we've been sort of taught that we are single in some psychological sense. Like, why? Well, because the nation state sees us as citizens, right? Workers. But it has the relationship with a person, not with an aspect of the person. Has a relationship with the person themselves. When a nation state issues a passport, it's issued for the person as a whole. And this, I think, leads to a bit of an implicit assumption that the mind is one. Because you only have one passport, therefore you must surely only have one mind, which is nonsense.
Yeah.
Right? This is a natural and accidental conclusion. And I think what I have discovered, if you like, not sure I would even necessarily call it discovery, but it is the ability to sort of have two modes of thinking, two different bits of the brain. Just like in a computer, you've got a CPU and a GPU. One is good at one thing, and the other's good at another thing. Well, I think, it's not unreasonable and not incredible that, not credible. It is credible that nature would have given us this sort of multimodal ability.
Yeah.
Why? Well, because firstly, we may have different diets. Energy may be more or less available, and we may need to sort of put the brain into energy saving mode, or basically hunting mode, versus thinking or religious mode. Another one is that the different sort of aspects of mind may very well have been, this is my theory, and I'm just speculating, but they may well have evolved at different times, right? I can well imagine that the fast mind, as I might call it, or the soldier mind, evolved much earlier than the slow mind, or like the philosopher mind.
Yeah.
Right? Because we needed to interact with each other on a linguistic basis long before we really needed to be able to handle, desperately complex mathematical concepts and various other worldly interaction patterns that the slow mind can help us with. Of course, it would ultimately have given an advantage, and those with a bigger slow mind would probably have outperformed those with no slow mind at all.
As long as the getting was good.
Yeah.
As long as there was no risks or danger.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot one can speculate in this regard. But I guess my main point is that the concept of homogeneity and uniformity is one that I would associate much more with the industrial society, the desire for this single social contract, one size fits all, everyone's equal, than with nature. Nature tends to have all sorts of random specializations that came about. Some of them are not used anymore. Some of them are just like historical artifacts. Others are used, but only in very particular situations. Another example of this, actually, while I'm on the topic, is diet. Industrialized society, fetishizing uniformity, insists that we have a particular diet, right? The food pyramid. I don't know if you ever taught this in Canada, where you grew up.
Oh, yeah.
In the UK, we had this food pyramid thing. It's like you should eat this amount of bread and this amount of seeds and this amount of broccoli and da-da-da-da-da. Never did it seem to occur to them that switching your diet in two different modes, so for example, having periods where you are in ketosis, you don't eat any carbs. Having periods where you are in famine mode, you don't eat any calories at all, might be sensible than having just one single selection of food to eat, one mode. But as I say, this concept of like uniformity, even if we're not always forced to wear uniforms, in some sense it belies this industrial age that we're sort of slowly sleepwalking out of.
It's kind of part of this, I think you called it this cage of incantations, this sort of magical prison that we sit in. You also made a point to tell us that these two sides of you, the philosopher and the soldier, you want to make a point of bringing those both to the forefront now, not just being the philosopher and creating, I don't know, pie in the sky ideas is a phrase you've used before, but there's a mission now. I have a feeling that mission is to get out of the cage, or it's to change something about this social contract that you were speaking about as well. Can you kind of define, I don't know if you want to say the enemy, or what does that look like, and what are we trying to disrupt or dissolve here?
The trap is enslavement.
Mm-hmm. To who?
Essentially, it's those who wield power, essentially. Agents of the establishment, if you like. I mean, I don't know if I would go as far as to sort of say that, use the word enemy. I think that would be too strong. I don't think it's at that point yet. And maybe it will never get to that point. I think it's more that there is a distinct non-alignment in the realities of our technology, the realities of the society that our technology can deliver, and the willingness to accept that by these people, the ones that have some ability to support or stem the fates of others, simply because society's rules put them in that place.
And why are these positions abused? Why do they enslave people, or why are we enslaved to
Turkeys don't vote for Christmas.
Say it again. Turkeys don't vote for Christmas?
These people are hardly going to make decisions that put themselves out of power, are they?
Okay, well then, because now you're the head of Parity, how can we be so sure that you won't do the same?
Firstly, if I wanted, then this would be a very foolish way to go. I would instead start funding political parties and making friends in high places. But even that aside, it doesn't really matter if I did. Maybe I don't know, go to sleep tonight and I wake up thinking, actually, Zuckerberg is my hero, and I really want to, build a centralized Facebook-like thing. Because what we produce is open and game theoretically sound, secure, and you can check that. So if I did sort of change somehow and become, not in line with what I'm talking about, if my actions didn't line up, they are verifiable, and you can always disregard what Parity produces. But I hope we'll produce good products that do what they say on the tin. And you would be well advised to regard them.
So ultimately, we shouldn't have to trust that you're not screwing us over.
No, indeed.
Because of the system you're building.
Because of its very nature.
Now, I get the sense that you are hankering for a culture change in Parity, and maybe beyond as well. You have this Parity culture list. It's a list of movies and books and music.
No music yet. But
not music?
The others. Not yet.
Coming soon. What are you hoping for here? Where do you want to go?
It's not that there's a bad culture, it's just that there's not really much culture at all. Of course, there's vibe, but that's rather a different thing. In the early days of Parity, the very early days of Parity, about 10 years ago, actually, almost exactly, I think it was November 2015, we did the first Parity Retreat. Arkady, Marek and myself went to some mad, small village, very, very small village, up on the Baltic coast, northern Germany. And we stayed in this place like miles from any shop. Had to take the bus to get to any shop, and then the bus only came twice a day. And we locked ourselves away there for 2 weeks and started writing the first version of Parity, the Ethereum client, rather than the company. The company was called Ethcore back then. Arkady and I knew each other. We'd worked around each other for, I don't know, a few months, maybe 12 months. Yeah, a bit longer, 12, 13, 14 months. So we knew each other fairly well, but I traveled a lot back then. I lived in Zug for a year, so I didn't sort of see Arkady and Marek so much. So it was really nice to spend this time. And what did we do together? Well, we coded, obviously. But at the end of the day, we watched some TV. It became a sort of a nice, I guess, shared cultural reference point. This TV is all on the Parity culture list. In some sense, it's like part of Parity's history. But one of the reasons for getting it on there and having, you know, at least a few things that people are strongly encouraged to watch is to provide this kind of shared cultural reference. We are a global company, right? Which means people are coming into the company from many different cultures, many different languages, many different backgrounds. And that gives us, you know, huge strength in diversity. But we suffer in terms of cohesion and the ability for people to randomly sit next to each other at lunch or stand by the water cooler in the office and talk about what they saw on TV last night that you would be able to do if you both lived and worked in the same company, in the same town. So this is intended to help alleviate that to some extent. It's also intended to give us Parity employees and some that are associated people with Parity a good amount of background on what Parity is here to achieve. If we are to reimagine the social contract, to create a true, or the tools for a true information age society, then we're going to have to understand certain things about ourselves and about each other and about the ways that individuals might interact. I mean, sci-fi does this a lot, right? They imagine different social structures, different social contracts, different patterns of interaction, of interhuman interaction. But others do it as well. And I think it's crucial that we not only sort of expand our minds a little to be able to imagine what products we might want to build better or how we might build those products better, but also so that we can talk to each other about these ideas and evolve them within the company.
These soldiers that you're going to be marching with now on this mission, let's put it this way. What are the qualities you do not want to see in the people marching with you in this company and even outside? What qualities are you tired of seeing and can you not stand anymore? What's going to hurt the mission instead of help?
Timidity would be well put to rest. I think it's important to not be thin-skinned, to accept that this is a company that lives on the bleeding edge of technology and of thought. And I want to ensure that there is the right environment for free thinking, which means people should not think they have the right not to be offended. You don't. I am not a big fan, however, of people who wantonly cause offense, right? There is a reservation that is necessary. So, there shouldn't be assholes who are walking around needlessly pissing people off. But that said, if you feel offended, it's probably your fault. If I see assholes, I'll call them on it.
Sure. The mission now is to make products.
The strategy for the last couple of years, I guess, was to try to stay in the background, in the shadows, as a sort of tech provider, and then only provide the sort of the product, the Polkadot platform, for other people to build on. And you know, we got some interesting builders. We got some usage numbers, but I came to the conclusion that I want to see more interesting products on Polkadot, and I figured we need to build them because others aren't.
So the current landscape of products on Polkadot leaves a lot to be desired?
For me, yep.
In what way? What's missing?
Every way. I've got a big long list.
Right, all these categories that I mentioned before.
I mean, it's stuff that I've been talking around for, what, 12 years now?
Yeah, yeah.
There's nothing desperately like new on there. There's maybe a little bit more detail, maybe maybe there's a few ideas but that are new, but like most of it is stuff that we've sort of vaguely been thinking about. It's just it needs actually sort of properly detailing and building.
One thing you mentioned was consolidating these products that work under the Polkadot brand in easily accessible areas. That app that everyone's asking when it's going to come out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you now. The website, you mentioned a desktop app as well.
Yep.
A common currency in all of them could be this new DOT stablecoin, putting basically the DOT token to work, collateralizing this stablecoin. Now, this has been a little bit contentious outside of Parity in the OpenGov. Somebody put it up for vote on this Wish for Change track. And so far the votes are saying we do not wish for the stablecoin in this current proposal, the Hansen protocol, PUSD, all this.
Yep.
How do we move forward? This is a very important piece of the puzzle, the stablecoin.
We do need an economic strategy if we expect economic success.
Yeah, yeah.
And the stablecoin, in my mind, can provide a substantial piece of the puzzle for that. I did read the comments on this Wish for Change referendum, and they're not generally against the stablecoin. In fact, most of them are quite supportive towards it.
Absolutely.
They seem to be just mostly against Akala's stablecoin code.
It's hard to forget when you lose money, and many people unfortunately did there.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I think there are some things I would question, some concerns within this Hansen architecture.
Yeah.
And I think there will be, it does not fulfill the stablecoin that I believe Polkadot needs. So there'll need to be additional functionality that'll have to be developed anyway. But my desire was to try to get this delivered as soon as possible. And at the end of the day, it wasn't actually the Hansen code, which is actually pretty well tested, that was the issue. It was the configuration of it. One parameter, and the units were wrong. I think this is something where, you know, we can reassess precisely who is behind the code. It can be, for example, a project that Parity could have a substantial role in. Maybe a sort of architecting and testing role with some logic written by it and a third party. Maybe fellows, we could limit it to fellowship members. And we can ensure that our sort of specification requirements list is entirely new, rewritten, and nothing to do with the Akala code.
Are you very convinced on this single asset collateral? Because before we had DAI, we had Psi, which was just Ethereum backed. And they abandoned that for, you know, maybe reasons like we saw just a few days ago, these incredible liquidation events that we see. How do you square that up with those risks and this desire to have, you know, just a DOT-backed stablecoin?
It's not that I would be desperately against having additional tokens in, but the tokens have to fulfill some very particular requirements. Firstly, they have to be native. If they're not native, then it means we're handing the ability to command Polkadot security to some other chain.
Even like a Polkadot wrapped Bitcoin, you wouldn't
Even
do?
a Polkadot wrapped Bitcoin. I mean, what precisely would a Polkadot wrapped Bitcoin look like? Presumably it would be based on like TBTC or something. this like threshold Bitcoin, which still uses just basically 100 validator signatures to spend Bitcoin, right? So if you compromise enough of those validators, you can compromise the Polkadot staking economy, and that becomes problematic.
So that's just even riskier than just market volatility for you.
I believe so.
The dot economic situation is developing super, super fast, and it's partially because we chose this particular issuance curve, this hard pressure curve. The pressure's on. How are we figuring out or determining, the value of a validator contributing to the network?
So I think with validators, it's really about making them a reasonable offer, right?
Okay.
Validators have to generally be on call, right? In case their server goes down, their node goes down. And they have to usually rent some small space in a data center and get some bandwidth, The data center costs for the sort of hardware that we need probably run to 1,000, maybe 1,500 a month. And that should be enough to pay for 3 or 4 machines and their bandwidth, right? One machine will be the main node machine. There'll probably be a secondary node that sort of sits as the public DA server, to basically serving out data. There'll probably be another node for the small statement hub, and there'll probably be another node for ZK proving. Right, so they're probably going to have a bit of a selection of hardware. But anyway, let's say 1 to 2K a month, just in hardware and bandwidth costs, and then another, let's say 3K, just for them to be on call. Yeah. Well, that's 5K. So what we do is we make 5K in PUSD every month, and that's what we hand out to the validators if they can get enough votes. Right. Now then, the trick with the validators is then to get votes, because they presumably are quite happy being paid 5K, especially if they happen to run 10 nodes, say, and they only have to be on call once, which means they effectively get multiples of this profit, of this 5K. So how do validators get selected? Well, they're probably going to have to advertise. Right? They're probably going to be on a nice list on the Polkadot app, right? Randomly ordered, or some element of random ordering, some element of reputation ordering, perhaps, where people, proven people, can basically just vote for a validator.
These voters which you're talking about, this is on the new proof of personhood game, getting rid of the nominator game, which again is going to free up all this dot, but you're saying let's capture that dot and put it into the stablecoin as one of your strategies.
I believe so. I believe that the days of marketing tokens based on their tech platform are kind of done.
I feel that way too, yeah.
So the idea of sort of implicitly marketing DOT as a way of using the Polkadot tech platform, which is, the best, is probably running thin. And we probably want, as a strategy, some other means of ensuring that the DOT token has somewhere to be sensibly. Market is fickle. I think a much better expectation is look at the underlying economics. See if you can make yourself feel comfortable with them. And if so, then don't look at the ticker symbol. Just build. Some consideration should be given to the underlying economics. And it's something that I have thought about in the last few months, and something that I am now comfortable with our direction on. Now, of course, there's still some, it's all very well having a stablecoin that's over-collateralized with the token. And with the token being something that is holds fundamental value, but volatile value. But you still have to make the stablecoin useful. You got to put it into people's hands. I'm not at this point ready to share my strategic hand on how I think the stablecoin can be made to be useful, but I have a number of ideas. And yes, they do center around some of the other work I've been doing, like JAM and proof of personhood.
Okay, we'll wrap it up with this last one here. As far as a token that holds value goes, like we said, it collateralizes the stablecoin, so it has to maintain some value. But it's also the income to the treasury. The whole treasury game is totally different than it was 6 months ago.
Yes.
And now that we're cutting issuance, I mean, already, I don't know if it's this cohort of DV or if it's because we see the issuance that's going to come down significantly next year, but it's become a lot more conservative. And then, I don't know if you said it personally, but certainly Web3 Foundation mentioned that they are going to be coming in and voting directly, not by proxy through their delegations, but they're, in important decisions, they're going to be coming in.
Yep.
How do you become a leader in the treasury, in open governance with the capital that you had early access to, we could say, without ruining the democratic game that's been maturing over the past few years? How does the treasury not get, just captured and just an extension of parity?
Some argued that it was captured already.
I've heard those people, yes.
OpenGov is a important part of Polkadot's journey.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the end destination. Indeed, one of the things Parity will be working on, one of our sort of product directions, will be improving the tools for governance, for voting, and for management and decisions regarding finance.
Nice.
Now, I ask myself a different question. I ask myself, was it right to stand back and watch money be spent that I didn't agree with?
Good question. What do you think?
I think there are loud voices that probably don't have very big bags, that are desperate for some attention, and that speak a lot of democratic process, and yet are probably those same loud voices that complain when democratic process votes the wrong way. I have little time for either of these. And I think it's time that we, the Web3 Foundation, Parity, me, personally, to some extent anyway, have a simple, well-considered policy, research in line with that policy, and vote in line with that research.
Very good. Hey, I heard you're going to speak at Sub-Zero in a month's time. Any preview of what you're going to be speaking about there?
I have a lot to say these days.
Yeah.
I've been writing.
Right now you have an 80-minute slot. Should we extend?
No, 80 should be fine.
Okay.
I'll try to squeeze it.
It's a thrill to be marching with you and everybody in this room. Thanks for coming back to Space Monkeys. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me, Jay.